Welcome. I'm Jen Boucher-Danzer, the Executive Director here at NAMI Yolo County. We are just so excited that you've all joined us this evening to learn about mental health and mindfulness and come away with some tools to help ease anxiety and stress. As the Yolo County affiliate of the National Alliance on Mental Illness, we're part of the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization dedicated to improving the lives of individuals and families affected by mental illness. At NAMI Yolo County, our mission is to provide advocacy, support, education, and public awareness so that all individuals and families who are affected by mental illness can build better lives. We envision a stigma-free future where all people affected by a mental health condition experience resiliency and recovery with safe, affordable housing, meaningful activities, supportive relationships, and hope. So tonight's presentation is part of our First Wednesday Gathering series, where we invite speakers to present on a topic of interest related to mental health. These events are part of our ongoing commitment to grassroots community education, and they also provide valuable opportunities for collaboration in the mental health community, increased outreach to diverse populations, and they also ensure that our members stay up to date and informed about issues that are important to the mental health community. So we're excited to bring you two wonderful speakers tonight who will be teaching us about practices and techniques that can help improve our own mental health. First, we will be hearing from Nicole Carter on nervous system regulation techniques. And then in a little while, we will hear from Emma Shandy Anway about some mindfulness practices. So with that, I would like to introduce Nicole Carter. Nicole is a clinical social worker with much lived experience in overcoming adversity, 20+ years in the field, and an appreciation for scientific research that points us in the direction of mind and heart connection. Nicole has extensive experience in supporting children, adults, and families that find themselves in crisis, transition, and major life change. She offers telehealth to clients throughout California and offers stress reduction techniques and guidance through her popular Instagram account. Nicole, thank you so much for being here with us this evening, and I'm very excited to hear what you have to share with us.
Thank you. It's an honor to be invited back again. It's always nice to be invited back. That means I was a good guest. And I'm also, it's nice to see some familiar faces. I see Marilyn there. So I'm really honored because I believe Marilyn found me on Instagram and let people know, hey, I think we can bring this person in and she can kind of help us with some things. So, all right, bear with me. I'm gonna see if I can get my slides up. I believe I can share my screen. All right. Of course, my dog decides to bark when presentation is going. All right. Okay. Nervous system. When we think about our nerve, Jen, I can see you. Can you hear me well? If you nod, then I know I'm good. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right. When we talk about our nervous system, you know, I think a lot of people think, oh, that gets on my nerves. But what does that mean? What does that mean? And our brain and our body has an amazing connection. I mean, the brain, the body, the gut, it's all working together. Okay. And it's all designed to handle things like stressful situations, anxiety, really hard things in life. But what it's not designed to do is to handle it for long periods of time. So it's one thing to hear a loud sound and then kind of go, what was that? Oh, it was a firework. And then the body relaxes and the body says, okay, that's not something I need to worry about. But what I want to talk about is what happens when that part of us either is ruminating on something or we can't stop thinking about something and we start to notice that that stress is now turned into fear or anxiety. Okay. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what that means, what's going on in our brain. So our brain has something in it that's very similar to a smoke alarm. And if you were at the our gathering with Yolo and Davis, you heard me talk about the amygdala. And you'll see a picture. So in our brain, you don't have an actual smoke alarm, but it works. Your amygdala works like a smoke alarm, okay? And that's your emotional center of your brain, all right? That's the part where we do feel those emotions and we do feel like, oh, I have to do something with this. We also have a part of our brain that's the very earliest part of our brain, and it acts like a reptile brain or mammalian, so we call that the lizard brain. And I don't have my, do I have my lizard? Do I have a lizard here? I have a lizard here. All right, there's my lizard. And that part of your brain is what happens when my dog just barked, my heart raced because I got nervous. Because I'm making this presentation and I'm in my, what looks like a beautiful office space, but it's really just my back kitchen wall, okay? You know, nobody has to know. So my heart rate started to race a little and I said, oh gosh, Nicole, but I'm presenting, stay calm. That was this guy. The lizard brain is saying, do I have to run away from that? I have to quickly get away from it. And then when that happens, when our lizard brain senses something, either out of the side of our eye or hears something that's really scary or threatening, it responds first and our physiology starts to gear up to protect us. And so the blood literally rushes from the brain area and goes to our major muscle groups so that we can either fight something, right? We're gonna fight it, we're gonna fight it off, okay? We're gonna start to turn green, or if we can't fight it, we will run away. And that's my Scooby-Doo there. And Scooby always runs away when things get scary, yeah? So, okay, so the blood rushes from my brain real quick and prepares me to fight or run away, okay? What happens that quickly, autonomic, Nicole cannot control that. That's not something you can control autonomically, but what that happens is for a split second, my big brain, my big smart thinking brain goes offline. And when that happens, I am now just in reflective, I'm in survival mode. And so then my body jumps real quick and my brain calculates very fast, how close was it? What did it sound like? And then finally, once my heart rate slows down a little, my brain comes back online and it tells me that was a firework. Okay, but your initial movement, is that guy. That's that reptilian part of your brain, and we need that part. And this is the part of the brain that people get mad at. Because what happens when this goes, remember I told you, this goes kind of offline. And so when people say, how come you tell me, how come you didn't remember? And it's probably because somebody was either distracted or their nervous system was paying attention to something else. Okay, so those are different parts of the body. And what that means is what can we do when we notice that in ourselves? So when you notice yourself really quickly getting activated, or some people use the word triggered, what does that mean? That means my body's gearing up to either run away from something or fight something. And sometimes we get into something to call freeze. And that's where you've ever noticed, like you're talking to somebody, but it looks like they're really not there. A lot of times our little young people, if we go, who did this? Who did this? You'll see it in dogs too. I don't know if y'all have fur babies, but if you come in the house and you go, who did this? The dogs go, right? They freeze. So that's also the brain saying, I can't run. It's not safe to run. It's not safe to fight. I don't know what to do. So it'll freeze, right? So what is happening in that moment inside my body? My breathing is doing one thing, my heart rate is doing another, and my blood pressure is doing something else. So my breathing, my heart rate, and my blood pressure, they're all acting on different metrics. They're not lined up. So one way when we tell people to take a deep breath, what we're asking them to do is to get their breathing, their heart rate, and their blood pressure, what we call in coherence with each other, okay? So something that I teach is called heart-focused breathing, and it's really simple. It only takes a few minutes, but what we ask you to do is like the picture of the rowers there, we're gonna get our heart rate and our blood pressure and our breathing all rowing together. And that's when we start rowing together, that information, that act of us consciously doing that sends information down a nerve. We have something called a vagus nerve that is attached to the lizard runs to the brain and down to the gut, down that spine. So this is the message pathway that we start saying, hey, 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 it's okay, right? Because the brain is always looking for what I call a threat. So that's the tiger. It's always looking around going, is there a tiger? Is there a tiger out there? Okay, so heart focused breathing. It's really easy peasy, okay? We just want to send some information down that pathway, that vagus nerve, that, hey, we're okay. And the way that we do that is we take some deep breaths. We put our focused attention on our heart area. And I like to ask people to put their hands on their heart center. You can put it on your physical heart, center of your chest, because wherever your hands go, it tells the brain, hey, I'm paying attention to this area, okay? And then what I'm gonna ask you to do in a few minutes is I'm gonna ask you to just imagine your breath flowing through your heart, moving around. And then the magic component or the special component about the heart space is that if you start to bring to mind a felt sense of care or appreciation. So that could be, you know, a newborn baby in your village. Maybe there's a newborn who just came into your village and you would imagine them and the joy that that would bring, or some type of gratitude, a felt sense of gratitude. That will also help to regulate and put those three things in sync or in coherence. So I'm going to invite you all, as comfortable as you can, to go ahead and get relaxed where you're sitting, as comfortable as you can. And I'll invite you to close your eyes. If closing your eyes doesn't feel safe, just relax your brow. So just going to relax your brow and relax the sides of your eyes. And even as I say that, you know, it's the beautiful mind will hear that and go, how relaxed can I make my brow? And it'll kind of focus on that, okay? So I'm going to invite you to place your hands on your heart center if you'd like. And then I'm going to ask you to take a nice deep breath in through your nose, and your belly's going to get nice, big, and expansive. And then you're going to breathe out through your mouth. So in through the nose, belly gets nice and big and expanded, and then out through your mouth. And that out or your exhale is going to be a little bit longer than your inhale, okay? So you can do it at your own pace, or you can do it with me in the singing bowl, but we're going to go in through the nose, out through the mouth, shoulders dropping, easing into your chair, relaxing, in through the nose, out through the mouth, feeling a deeper sense of relaxation. And one more time on your own. Connecting to that heart space, I'm going to ask you now to imagine seeing your breath go in through the heart space and out through the heart space. In through the heart space and out through the heart space. Really good. And then I'm going to ask you to start feeling that sense of care, gratitude, or appreciation. So that's that little newborn around you. That's that new puppy or your fur babies. That could be gratitude that you have for the work that you're doing, but really feel it. Really start to bring it into your heart space. And with every breath in and every breath out, you're going to let that circulate in your heart space. Getting our breathing, our heart rate, and our blood pressure all rolling together. And as you feel that, feel any relaxation that you may be noticing. Feel and sense maybe how quiet it has become inside of your mind. And when you're ready, come back to the room, opening your eyes, orienting yourself to the space that you're in. Sometimes it's nice to take a nice yawn, a nice stretch. And just orienting yourself back to the space, to the sound of my voice. Okay, so that is heart-focused breathing. And the beauty of that is you can do that very simply. You can just imagine if you're not in a position to place your hands, just imagine, just put your attention on your heart space. That's the beauty of this. You can just place your attention on your heart space. Okay, all right. I'm seeing some relaxed faces out there, so that's good. That's good. All right, so that's heart-focused breathing. All right, the next one I want to talk to you is about self-soothing. So we've been hearing a lot of self-care, and now we're starting to hear self-soothing. My friend said, you better trademark that, Nicole, and quick, because it is catching on. And what does that mean? And so self-soothing was really something I started studying because of the stress response. I knew that my lizard was being activated and it wasn't turning off. And I just noticed that I was irritable. I noticed that I was less patient. I noticed that I was chronically fatigued because this guy was always, what was that? What was that? What was that? And I think we can all relate to the last 2 years. So self-soothing is that awareness of what is my physical sensation and what is my state? Do I feel like fighting? Do I feel like running away? Did I just freeze? And then what can I do to help soothe that, right? Because maybe I'm just in the grocery store and well, I don't know if any of you get hangry. It's when you're really hungry and somebody asks you the same question 3 times and you're just like, what did I that's this guy, because this guy says you're starving me. Why are you not feeding me? And you keep taking another call. So then this guy starts to get scared and nervous. And so what starts to happen? We start to get a little angry because we're getting protective and survival, and we're scared that the resources are gone. So that's what starts to happen when you get hangry. Okay. Havenine is something that I learned. It's something that I love. It's something that I do almost daily. And it's a psychosensory. That's a big fancy word. But what we've found is with the neuroscience is that we can use touch to decrease unwanted feelings, anxiety, depression, with somatic, both somatic. So in the body, I don't know what's wrong. I'm just feeling really anxious, really restless. It's in my body. And then emotional. I just keep thinking these thoughts and these thoughts make me feel this way. From distressing memories. So if we have a memory that's ruminating, havening is really good for stuff that we find ourselves ruminating about. Or events that happen that maybe just the thought of them activates that smoke alarm starts to go off, even though it's been some time that's passed. Okay, so I'm going to show you the havening technique. And the first one is called face havening. Okay, and so you're going to take your hands, if you're comfortable with your hands, and you can, I also do it with glasses. But you're going to take your hands and you're going to go up and over your brow and down the sides of your face. So up and over your brow and down the sides of your face. And it's a matter of your comfort and pressure. And the other one is right below your eyes. So you can start at the corners of your eyes and go down and around. And what we like to imagine, and what I was taught to imagine, which I like, is that if you were holding a baby in your arms that was a little fussy, or even if you were just admiring them, it's just the same kind of stroking touches that you would give to a baby in your arms. Or your cat, like me. I like to stroke my cat when she lets me. So that's the first one. Arm havening is you're going to take your arms and you're going to cross them. So you're cross them over your shoulders, and you're going to start at the top of your shoulders. And you're going to stroke down to your elbows, come up, release, back to your shoulders, and down again. So we call this the self-hug. And this is just kind of like, it's going to be okay. We're safe. It's all right. So it's, again, soothing the physical, telling the amygdala, it's okay. It's all right. And then the third one is called palm havening. And what they have found is that we have receptors in our palms, the area right here on our arms, and in our face, that when we activate these in a soothing manner, it actually helps to change the brain waves. So we go out of beta, which is like busy bee, got to get things done. And we go into delta, which is a slower brain wave. Okay. And when you can slow the brain wave down, again, that will turn this guy off. So palm havening is just taking your hands and stroking them across your palms. You can keep them together. Some people like to do figure eights. So they'll just do like a figure eight type of motion, or some people just like to keep it like hand washing. Some people like to really come off the palms and really kind of side to side, again, our hand washing. So whatever you feel, whatever you sense feels comfortable for you. So those are the three. You've got the face, you've got the self hug, and you've got the hand washing. Okay. And so there's a image there, but what I'm going to invite us to do as a group is to practice a little bit. Okay. And so the thing is, when you find yourself, and we'll do an event havening, which means I'm going to ask you to bring up an event that maybe out of a 0 to 10, 0 being cool as a cucumber, no stress, easy breezy peasy, 10 being I was at fight or flight, Nicole, freeze, or sometimes even shut down. We also can go into turtle mode where we're physically exhausted. We don't have anything left. And so our body says, shut it down, because then maybe if we pretend like we're no longer alive, we won't be a viable source for that thing to come eat us. Because biology says if I didn't technically end its life, then I can't trust to kill it. So we have that biology too. And so when we get tired, exhausted, we've done all we can do. Sometimes we will go into shutdown. Okay. So bring up an event on a scale of 0 to 10, and maybe like a 7. Something that kind of maybe is just sitting with you from today, maybe an email you got, maybe a text message that, you know, you can't really see their face or hear their voice, but it's just kind of bugging you. Or maybe something over the weekend. I know, unfortunately, here in Sacramento, there was a very, very unfortunate event where a lot of lives were lost. And so it was very heavy on Sunday, and it was very heavy on Monday. Okay, so something that's like at a 7 or a 6. And I really want you to bring it to mind, because what happens is when we do the havening, if we can bring it up to you're like, yeah, that really bothered me, we've activated and we've kind of got this thing going. And then when we haven, what we're doing is we're trying to change the neurons and the receptors, like kind of like think about the chemical activity around it, because the brain works in memories. So when we bring up that memory, that event, it's kind of imagine having this electricity around it. And when we haven, what we're doing is we're trying to bring that electricity off of it, off of the memory. So then you can be more neutral and just say, well, this is what happened, or be curious about it. I wonder what happened. Okay, so we're gonna practice. All right. So if you've got an event that you wanna, you're like, Nicole, I wanna get some relief on this. This is the time. So a 7 or a 6, something that you're thinking about. And I'm gonna invite you to start the havening touch. So that could be your arms, that could be your hands, and that could be your face. And just do whatever feels natural to you. So go ahead and start the havening touch. I'm gonna invite you to close your eyes or relax your brow. I'm going to invite you to take a nice deep breath in and breathe out, and just stay with the havening touch. And if you can, I'm going to invite you to think of your favorite peaceful place. For some of us, that's an ocean, a body of water. For some of us, that's the mountains. But bring to mind and see yourself in your favorite environment, your favorite quiet place where you get to think. And that could be like your favorite park and your favorite bench. And see yourself and really start to feel like, what's the temperature? What time of day is it? Really give that visual image or that thought some context. What time of day? What's the temperature? And stay with the havening touch. And then I'm going to ask you in your favorite place to see a set of stairs. And that could be stairs made out of rocks. That could be physical stairs. And I'd like you to imagine climbing up the stairs, but in your own voice and in your own way, because I can't hear you, to count out loud with each step until you get to 20. And keep doing the Havenine touch. There's no rush to get to the top of the stairs, but you're just counting out loud until you get to 20. And then I'll invite you as you're standing there. For those of us who know row, row, row your boat, or twinkle, twinkle, little star, even take me out to the ball game, I'm going to invite you to hum that. So as you're using the Havenine touch with your eyes closed, go ahead and hum row, row, row your boat, or twinkle, twinkle, little star. And just go ahead, hum out loud. No one can hear you. Taking nice, relaxed breaths. Can't get this wrong. You cannot get this wrong. And then I'm going to ask you to open your eyes and looking straight forward from where you are, I'm going to ask you to take your eyes to the right. So keeping your head straight forward, try to move your eyes all the way to the right, back to center, and then all the way to the left. And then back to center. And then I'm going to ask you to bring up that event that you started with at the beginning of the practice. And what is the number now? On a scale of 0 to 10, what is the number and what do you notice about that event now when you think about it? So just take a few moments. Did it change? Did it go down? When you think of that event now, are you getting the same physical sensations that you got initially? So just taking some time to notice any shifts and changes. And then I'm going to invite, if anybody would like to share their experience or what that was like for them. I have about 5 minutes. I would love to hear what either of those exercises did for you. And you can also put it in the chat. I know sometimes it's kind of odd to speak in front of a group of people. So you can use the chat or you can unmute yourself. But I'm wondering if anybody, you can nod, if anybody felt that number go down. Yeah, okay, good. Pat says yes, Helen says yes. Good, all right, yay, yeah. Good, good. Oh, can't unmute, okay. Oh, maybe, okay, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm hearing somebody broke through.
It looks like Kim has her hand raised.
Yay, hi, Kim.
Yeah, hi. So thank you so much for this evening. It's my first time joining this event, but I'm really enjoying it. And I had an interaction today through a chat that really made me upset because I felt unheard.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in one of those busy, fast-paced, got to get this done right now, and then just popped up, and I just went,
I can
So
relate.
that was my thought. I guess I'm like, what? I don't understand. And so anyway, make a long story short, I had that in my head when we started the exercise, and I was giving it a level 7. And after the exercise, I think it came in about a 3 or a 4. So I just wanted to share that my number did go down. And you know, I do chat quite a bit. This was a group chat, so I really felt just like kind of, I don't know, a little bit, I don't know, unheard and kind of on blast, and it was uncomfortable, and I was angry. But you know, in the whole fair sweep of things, it's all good now. It's all water under the bridge. So I just appreciate the ability to have that skill to help me process it for me. So when that thought comes back again, not gonna
You
be mad about
literally,
it.
Kim, if you go right in here, you will start to bring it down, right? And then you can have access to what you just have now, right? Now you're like, you know, the honest truth is, I didn't feel seen and heard. And guess what? That's what I want to teach, because our nervous system feels unseen and unheard a lot of times, because we're trying to be smart and creative and productive. And the nervous system is like, what about me? What about me? So when you do this, you're soothing yourself, and you're saying, hey, that event may have made us feel that way, but I'm not going to make myself feel unseen and unheard, right?
Thank you so much. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. All right. I love the chat. Yes. The self-hug. I do. I love the self-hug. I am a self-hugger. Yeah, I do. And then I've gotten really good with my hands now, because I do it so often that just the action of this, my brain goes, whoops. Yeah, from a 7 to about a 3. Yes, Pat. And it'll kick up. And then, you know, now you've got this tool to kind of give yourself. So I think that's my time. That was lovely. I really appreciate. Thank you all so much for participating. It was a pleasure.
Wonderful. Nicole, thank you so much. I'm feeling very relaxed and calm. So thank you. That was really wonderful. You know, I don't know about anyone else. For me, I found it helpful, you know, for you to kind of guide us through that. You know, you can read about different techniques, but I found it really helpful actually having you kind of talk us through it. So thank you very much. Wonderful. All right. So next, I would like to introduce all of you to Emma Shandy Anway. Emma is a licensed marriage and family therapist in Washington State and a registered associate marriage and family therapist in California. She has a physical office in Davis and also works with clients virtually throughout Washington and California. Emma is both a couples and individual therapist, practicing emotion-focused therapy with influences from attachment and family system theories. She specializes in sex therapy, perinatal therapy, couples and individual therapy, and also has experience as a certified trauma-informed yoga instructor. Emma, thank you so much for being part of our First Wednesday Gathering series. Welcome this evening, and I'm excited to hear what you have to share with us.
Thank you, Jen. Thanks so much. And thank you, Nicole. That was amazing. I feel calm, like this is perfect, my midweek calm down. And I hope that what I talk about with mindfulness just kind of feels like a good supplement for everybody based on what we've already heard tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and share my PowerPoint really quick. Cross fingers that my my tech skills are still up to par. Here we go. All right, Jen, you can see it? You can hear me? Perfect. Let's do this. All right. So I'm going to be talking tonight a little bit specifically about mindfulness for stress reduction. And here I am with my 2 guys. I am soon to have another one. You can't tell, but I am like 1,000,000 weeks pregnant. And I have a 2-year-old, and we are going to be adding another little boy to our family very, very soon. So that's exciting. And like Jen said, I'm a marriage and family therapist and a yoga teacher. So I do bring a lot of the kind of holistic mind body work into my practice, especially when working with things like anxiety and trauma, which, as you all know, have been really, really rampant lately. That being said, I wanted to set the tone about why this matters right now. So why understanding the nervous system, why understanding techniques like mindfulness really, really matters. Our current reality is that we are still in this global pandemic. Yes, we are 2 years in and seemingly in a good lull right now, but it's still a really, really hard time. In fact, with Omicron hitting us in January, we really did see depression and anxiety just skyrocket to an all-time high because there's so much collective fatigue, stress, and people are frankly just tired of this. It's really, really flipped us all upside down. The other thing I want to just really normalize is how hard it's been to do things like find a therapist, right? I've heard from so many people that even when I try to reach out, I got put on a wait list or I can't make it work with my schedule. And that's really hard, which is why events like this are so wonderful. So thank you to NAMI for doing that. And then no predictability or consistency. We're humans. We love a sense of predictability. Yeah, there has been none of that for a really, really long time. And as I said, it was tiring. And then you kind of put this icing of burnout, right? So burnout is just feeling so stressed that you just can't function anymore, right? You're parenting, you're working, you're doing all the things, all clouded by the pandemic, and you're in systems overdrive all the time, right? So again, adding to the reasons that we're seeing such an increase in stress and anxiety and depression. Our Surgeon General, Dr. Nadine Burke-Harris, has called this pandemic the greatest collective trauma of our generation, and I really appreciate her naming that because obviously we talk a lot about the physical impact of COVID, but there's a lot of attention that deserves to be shown on the mental health impact. And so, I think people like Nicole and myself are passionate about just teaching people how to get through times like this. So let's talk about mindfulness. Mindfulness, I think, gets a very kind of specific rap in the media, right? Of like, it's meditating, it's being really calm. And it is somewhat of those things. But the actual definition of mindfulness is the ability to be fully present, fully present. I'm not worrying about what's happening in the future. I'm not ruminating on the past. I'm aware of where I'm at and I am fully functioning in what I am doing. It's a practice. So it's not just a state of being, but it's a practice, right? That centers and calms the nervous system. And it is accessible within all of us. So that's what I really wanted to kind of emphasize this last point of, this is not something that is so hard. It's so hard to find. This is within all of us. It just needs to be accessed. As kind of Nicole mentioned earlier, benefits from doing daily practice like this: reduce stress and anxiety, reduce emotional reactivity. So emotional reactivity is, when you're in the car and you're late to drop your kid off at school and somebody is going 2 miles an hour in a 40 zone and you're just flipping a lid, right? So being able to take a breath, calm it down. When we practice mindfulness techniques, which I'll get into in a little bit, we're in a place that's a lot easier to kind of navigate those big feelings that tend to feel like they just take over everything. We also see improved memory, so just clarity and recalling big and little details. Another big one is actually increased heart health. By this, we're looking at numbers that are showing lowered blood pressure, right? Lower risk of heart disease. And the kind of accumulation of this is increased relational satisfaction, right? So this is something I see a lot in my work with couples. When one or both individuals are really committed to health, really committed to this idea of, self-control, centering themselves, calm, of course it's going to have that ripple effect. It's really beautiful to witness. I think this is a very cute and helpful video that kind of just reiterates what I said and gives a few more examples. So I'm going to play it. And Jen, if you could just give me a thumbs up too to make sure the sound has come through, that would be great. No sound? No, dang it. Okay. All right, give me 2 seconds. Let's see if I can figure this out. And if I can't, all good. Nope. You would think that 2 years into doing things like this, I would have a better understanding of how to navigate sharing videos, but apparently I don't. So I'm going to try one more thing, and if it doesn't work, then I will just tell you what was in the video and we will move on. Let's see. Okay. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to try that. Okay. Nope, that didn't work either. All right.
If you click to share again, there should
Yeah.
be, just a little box at the bottom of the first screen that pops up when you're like picking which
Oh,
window.
see it.
You have
Perfect.
to pick to share sound. They make it tricky.
I got it. Okay, I'm gonna try again. Y'all ready? Let's see. Okay. All right, looking at you, Jen. Yay!
You may have heard this word mindfulness. It's become something of a buzz phrase of late. So I'm going to give you one simple, serviceable definition, which is this. Mindfulness is the ability to know what's happening in your head at any given moment without getting carried away by it. Imagine how useful this could be. Just as an example, you're driving down the road and somebody cuts you off in traffic. How do you normally react? I think most of us, we normally react by having a thought, which is, I'm pissed. And then what happens next? You immediately, habitually, reflexively inhabit that thought. You actually become pissed. There's no buffer between the stimulus and your reaction. With just a little bit of mindfulness, in that same situation, you might notice my chest is buzzing, my ears are turning red, I'm having a starburst of self-righteous thoughts, I'm getting angry. But you don't necessarily have to act on it and chase that person down the road, screaming at them with your kids in the back of the car thinking you've gone nuts. Now, you might be thinking, don't I need to get angry sometimes? Aren't I justified? I would say yes, but probably not as much as you think. The proposition here is not that you should be rendered by mindfulness into some lifeless, non-judgmental blob. The proposition is that you should learn how to respond wisely to things that happen to you, rather than just reacting blindly. And that, my friends, is a superpower. How do you get it? The way to get it is through meditation. I believe that meditation and mindfulness are the next big public health revolution. In the 1940s, if you told somebody you were going running, they would have said, who's chasing you? But then what happened next? The scientists swooped in.
And there we go. I did something again. Let's do this. There we go.
Pantheon of no-brainers like brushing your teeth, eating well, and taking the meds your doctor prescribed for you. Let me just close by saying, mindfulness is not going to solve all of your problems. It's not going to render your life a nonstop parade of unicorns and rainbows. Nonetheless, this is a superpower, and one that is accessible by you immediately.
Awesome. So, like I said, and like that video said, you know, the reason we practice mindfulness, the state of being fully present, is because it translates to such broader areas of our life, right? Not only are we seeing improved physical and mental health, but we're seeing a greater control over just how you want to be in the world, right? How you want to react to things. as he says, it's a superpower, right? It can be truly, truly life-changing to adopt this type of practice. So I wanted to give you 3 starting ideas, and then I'm going to, in a little bit, talk you through an activity just to kind of close us out. But the first idea is task awareness. So task awareness is literally what it sounds like. Okay? It's picking one daily task and engaging your 5 senses when you're doing it. So the example I like to use is brushing your teeth in the morning. I think a lot of times when we are brushing our teeth, we're also getting the kids ready and maybe checking what the weather is and trying to get the cat out and doing all the things. So if you can say, all right, the 2 minutes that I have my toothbrush on, I'm going to pay attention to how everything feels in this moment. Okay. What am I tasting? What am I hearing right now? What do I smell? Okay. Am I feeling anything? Okay. We're really engaging. Is it just in my mouth? Am I tasting that toothpaste? Am I feeling the touch of that? Do I hear birds out right now? Okay. Really, really taking that 2 minutes to think about what I'm doing. Okay. When that 2 minutes is done, you put your toothbrush away and you let life happen again. Right? But you commit for 1 week. This is what I'm going to do. All 5 of my senses are engaged here. It can be driving to work, right? If you've got a long or short commute, giving yourself just 5 minutes where, yeah, I quiet everything down and I just pay attention to everything that's in my surrounding there. Right? Drinking your cup of coffee. If you're lucky enough to get a quiet cup of coffee in the morning, what's that like? And letting yourself be fully present with that. It sounds so simple, and it is startling to realize how often we are so distracted, even when we're doing these kind of mundane daily things. So that's the first thing that you could try. Second piece, and this is pretty broad, but is breath work. So when we bring our attention to our breath, it's really cool because it's almost hard to think about anything else. So if we're thinking, I'm breathing in and I'm focusing on where my breath is landing in my body. I'm breathing out. I'm noticing my shoulders drop. It's really hard to make your grocery list at the same time because you're tracking this breath. So you can sit and breathe consciously for 30 seconds and then get up and go about your day. You can sit and do it for 10 minutes, right? There's no like greater award for the longer you do it. Sure, you can build up to that, but even just making a 30-second decision to go, okay, doing the dishes, and I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to pay attention to how my breath is feeling in my body can be really, really transformative. And the last piece, and I have some app recommendations on my resource page, is doing a guided meditation. So, you know, one of the benefits of the tech world that we live in is there's a lot of free resources, a lot of free guided meditations. So apps like Headspace or Calm, they have a lot of free 5-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute guided meditations. So you can find a quiet moment every day, plug in, and just follow along. And they're really, really powerful ways to, again, ground yourself in the present. Where am I right now? I do want to acknowledge that starting a new habit can be hard, right? So in the yoga world, we often joke the hardest part is just getting to the mat. Just get to the mat and the rest will follow. It's the same thing with this. So whenever you start a mindfulness practice, the first thing I always encourage people to do is identify a motivating reason. Okay. What feels motivating enough to you to start something to do daily, right? So for me personally, I'll just share right now, like I said, I'm super pregnant and I have a 2.5-year-old with big feelings. And so for me, being able to stay calm when my 2-year-old needs me to be calm instead of getting wrapped up in my own stress, that's my motivator. So when I get up in the morning and I'm like, oh, I'm tired, I don't want to do this, I think about my son. I think about the type of mom I want to be, and I remind myself that this practice helps me get there, right? So for me, that's motivating enough, right? The other thing that really helps is picking a consistent time of day. If there's a time of day where you feel like you're able to adopt a new habit the best, where you're able to have the least amount of interruptions, see if you can choose that and stick with it. I also really like setting a timer. I think setting a timer can be motivating in so many ways because it's this reminder of this is not going to last all day, right? This is 30 seconds. And when this 30 seconds is done, I did something and I can feel proud of it, right? So knowing that that space is contained. And then the last piece is be aware of judgmental thoughts. So again, whenever we start a new habit, it's really easy to kind of go, oh, I missed a Wednesday, or I didn't do it again. It's not working. I'm not doing this. But remembering that it takes time. So if you miss a day, or if you get distracted during your meditation, give yourself grace. Like anything you learn, it takes time and practice, but the more you do it, the easier it'll feel. I really love this quote here. When we practice mindfulness, we're practicing the art of creating space for ourselves. Space to think, space to breathe, space between ourselves and our reactions. So thinking about this time as an act of just radical self-care, right? This is for whoever or whatever my motivating reason is, and I am creating space for myself. And we all know how hard that can feel in this busy, busy time. So I'd love to practice with y'all. Similar to what we did with Nicole, I'm gonna ask you right now to just take a moment to check in with yourself, okay? I want you to notice how your body is feeling. Notice if there's any tension in your body. Notice if you're carrying any stress, maybe in your shoulders, if you're feeling antsy. And I also want you to notice how you're feeling emotionally, okay? Right? It's the end of a Wednesday, mid-work week. Maybe you're tired, maybe you're calm, maybe you're frustrated, but just notice, okay? And let it go. And if you feel safe to close your eyes, I'd encourage you to do so. If you don't want to close your eyes, again, just kind of relaxing those eyelids and find a comfortable seat. So we're going to begin by taking a moment to let your body settle into as comfortable a position as possible. Okay. We're going to be practicing a full body scan. And this is something that you can do on your own. This is something that you can follow along. Okay. I want to have all of us take a full breath in through our nose, and then open mouth, audible exhale. 2 more big clearing breaths like that. In through your nose, audible exhale. And 1 more, letting this be the noisiest, biggest breath you've taken all day. Continue breathing slowly in and out of your nose, and bring your attention to your body. Notice the feeling of the weight of your body on your chair, or on the floor, wherever you're sitting. Notice how it's being supported. Notice where it feels heavy. And as you're breathing and noticing, slowly draw your attention to your chest and your abdomen, just appreciating how they expand and contract to allow the air to enter your lungs. What sensations are you aware of? As you exhale, bring awareness to how it feels to be so still. And notice yourself sink a little deeper into your chair. Now bring your attention to the top of your head, very top of your head. Noticing any sensations in your scalp. Drawing the attention down the back of your head, along the sides of your ears, to your face. Notice your jaw. If you're holding any tension in your jaw, can you release that? Notice your forehead, your brow. Let your face be soft here. Relax the muscles around your eyes, around your mouth. With every exhale, letting your face feel even softer. Now notice your neck and your throat. Can you let them be soft? Relaxing your tongue, letting yourself sink in further into the chair. Notice your shoulders and your arms. Drawing your attention from your upper arms to your elbows, to your forearms, to your wrists and your hands and your fingers, letting your arms be as heavy as they want to be. Now bring your attention back to your chest and your abdomen, feeling the movement. Noticing where the breath rises and falls as you breathe. Let your attention travel down to your stomach. Just noticing if it's tense or tight. And letting it soften. Letting it let go. Now bring your awareness to your upper back and your lower back. And if you're holding any tension there, can you let that go? Dropping your shoulders even more. Now continue traveling down to your legs, your thighs, calf, shins, down to your ankles. Finally, your feet. Letting your legs go as soft as they can. Knowing they don't need to hold you up right now. Notice the sensation of your feet against the floor. Notice any weight, any presence in the feet. Can you relax your toes even? And as you continue breathing slowly in and out, notice your whole body. And from the top of your head all the way down to your toes, can your whole body become a little bit more soft? Notice that with every elongated exhale, you have the opportunity to sink further into your chair. And stay with this sense of your whole body, just for a few more breaths on your own here. We're going to take a full deep breath in together, inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4, holding, and then exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to close out this practice, and I would encourage you to remain aware of your body. Bring in a little sense of gratitude for the gift that you just gave it. So I would love to hear a little bit about how you may be feeling now. So take a moment, just like you did before we started, to check in with your physical self, check in with your emotional self. And if you feel comfortable sharing, again, via chat or here, I'd love to know if there was any difference. Feeling weightless. Oops. Much appreciated. Feel completely relaxed. Good. 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 Yeah. Anyone else? Help shift gears from a busy day. Beautiful. Good. Yeah. Yeah. I know that this is something that I really like to do at night. Yes, Marilyn, I see, ready to fall asleep. I was just going to say that. If you're having trouble sleeping, this is a really powerful tool to use in that. You can do it lying in your bed. And sometimes you may even fall asleep before you finish the body scan. You know, super, super powerful. It says D brings simplicity to life. That's awesome. I love that. I love that. Anyone else want to share? So this is something, again, that you have on your own, right? All I was doing there is so simple, just guiding you through here, here, here. Bring some attention here and breathe, right? This is something, again, that you can do following an app. There's a lot of great free ones, or you can just kind of talk yourself through. And I want you all to kind of think about this feeling right now. This, if you could bottle it up, you can experience this every day, right? So this is just a little taste of this is what's possible, right? When you start implementing practices like it on the daily. And I'm actually going to share my screen one more time with you because I want to show a few resources here. I'm happy to put these in the chat as well, but if you want to take a photo, this can also be sent out. So I just wanted to include some apps, like I said, that I like, that have free meditative guides on them. A couple websites. So if you prefer to follow along by reading something, all of these websites here have free downloads. And then a couple videos. So similar to that cute little cartoon that I showed y'all, these are just more ways to learn about what mindfulness is and ways that you can practice. All right, thank you. Super appreciate you letting me be here and share this passion of mine with you. And I hope that it, feels helpful. I'm going to stop my share now. All right.
Emma, thank you so much. That was wonderful. What a way to end the day, right? Coming to a presentation that leaves you feeling so just refreshed and content. Thank you, both Emma and Nicole, for ending our day in such a wonderful way. This was lovely. So I would like to invite you all, before we completely finish up, I'd like you to invite you to take a couple of minutes to complete our event survey. We've dropped a link into the chat, and if you wouldn't mind clicking through that and just taking a minute to complete that, that would be wonderful. I also want to take just a minute to mention NAMI Yolo County's programs. We offer a variety of support groups, and classes. All of them are free. We have classes for our basics classes for parents, caregivers, and other family members who are caring for youth age 22 and younger who are experiencing mental health symptoms. Our peer-to-peer class is for adults with mental health conditions and is designed to encourage growth, healing, and recovery among participants. Our family to family class is for families, significant others, and friends of people with mental health conditions to really help facilitate a better understanding of mental health conditions, and empowers people who take the class to become advocates for their own family members. And then we also have a variety of support groups, basics again for parents and caregivers caring for youth 22 and younger, our connections support group. We have two, both one for adults living with a mental health condition, and we also have a young adults connection for those between the ages of 18 and 35 who have experienced symptoms of a mental health condition. And those support groups are also led by trained peers who understand the challenges of living with a mental illness. We have a family support group in both English and Spanish for family members, friends, significant others of people with mental health conditions. We also have two more First Wednesday gatherings coming up in our spring series. In May, we're actually very excited. We will be hosting an in-person event for our First Wednesday gathering in May on May 4th at the International House in Davis. And we will be hosting the Honorable Timothy Fall, Yolo County Superior Court Judge and author of the book Running for Judge. And he'll be talking about his own experiences living with anxiety. So we're really excited to host an in-person event, and I hope that we get to see many of you there. And then in June, we will once again be virtual with a presentation from Julie Freitas and Nadia Agnolia from Yolo County Homeless and Substance Use Disorder Services. And they'll be talking to us about housing and homelessness in Yolo County. So thank you again for joining us this evening. Please check in with our website if you'd like more information about our classes or support groups, or if you would like to volunteer with NAMI Yolo County. Please remember once again to complete that event survey that we linked to in the chat. We appreciate your support of NAMI Yolo County and look forward to seeing you all at the next First Wednesday gathering. Thank you so much for being here.